coordinate. Let's check the axis. Right, so I'm going to put the I'm going to share my screen. Okay. So all I'm going to take you through, obviously that's just the title slide. Um, and then that's the form that we fill in all the time. So that should be really familiar to you. It's no different to what we've already done. So what the addition this time is, I'm going to go, as it says here, I'm going to go technical, tactical, physical, and psychosocial, just to help you understand and have a greater appreciation of what's in each of the four corners. So if you're looking at technical, so on the form it's what am I good at, what support I need. So if you look at technical, technical is everything that you need to play the game of football, essentially. So as it says here, receiving skills, turning skills, traveling the ball, passing over varying distances, attacking, defending. Okay. So just a quick recap for those that have joined. We'll just go back up. So all we've covered so far is the form that we use for player reviews. So exactly the same format as before. So technical, what you do well, what you need support on, coaches comments, same for tactical, physical, and psychosocial. So what I'm going to do now, just for Ryan and Mark's your benefit, just take you through the four corners model and actually what it means. So when you're filling out the form, this is what I want you to use as a supporting document. Right, I'm not recapping again. You'll have to watch the video. So technical, as I said, all the stuff that you need in order to play football. If it's a goalkeeper, as an example, it's handling, it's kicking, it's getting your angles, all that kind of stuff. Distribution will be another one in terms of technical. So think about the position that you play, and in terms of technical, what you believe you're good at and where you believe you need support. And then in terms of tactical, so it's all about understanding in-game situations. So if we're leading in a game, how do we manage that? If we're losing a game, how do we manage that? So it's understanding the momentum shifts that we've talked about before within a game. So how do you recognize and adapt to the state of the game, as it says here? Achieve winning performances by maximizing strengths and exploiting weaknesses. So how do we identify very quickly what the opposition aren't great at, and then how do we alter our game if necessary to benefit from what they can't do? Understand and apply individual unit team roles and responsibilities. So we've been together, most of us now, for this is our third season together. So we all understand what our individual responsibilities are, how we play as a team, both in terms of playing style and philosophy. So how does that hang together? Adapt varying playing styles and formations. So we always play the 4-3-3, but we may play a variation. So as an example, on Saturday, very likely we're going to play with two holding midfielders instead of one, because obviously we've got a few people missing at centre half. We just need to add some extra support and stability in that area. Perform effectively against varied playing styles and formations. So how do we adapt to a team that plays out from the back? How do we adapt against a team that plays long? How do we adapt against a team that mixes it up? How do we play against a 3-5-2 or a 4-3-3 like us, or a 4-2-2? How do we adapt, not just as a group of players, but also as a playing staff, as a coaching staff as well, and then deal with varied environmental conditions. So if think about last Saturday, the grass was very long. So whilst we love to get the ball on the floor and pop the ball around, if it's wet, if the grass is long, we're going to have to adapt our playing style. Saturday's 4G, which suits us perfectly. But again, how do we make that transition from a grass surface where potentially we'd have to put more weight and power into the ball to make the passes get to where we want them to be, compared to a 4G where we know the roll of the ball is consistent, there's no bobbles. So how do we adapt to that as well? And then in terms of physical, think about your agility, your balance, and your coordination, your speed over a short distance, but also your speed over long distances as well. What's your endurance like? Flexibility, power, strength, nutrition, lifestyle, physical resilience, and recovery. So this is all the kind of stuff that we've talked about before. So there's still the videos on YouTube around sleep, hydration, nutrition, the strength and conditioning sessions that we've now started with within the club. And there's also the stretching routines as well that are available on YouTube that have gone out as well. So think about the progress that you've made in the physical quadrant, and then think about what further support you need. So is it, you still need some support in terms of strength and conditioning, or is it you need some strength in terms support in terms of nutrition and lifestyle? Just think about what support you need from us as a coaching group for the 16s, but also therefore, and also a wider club. So what do you need from the wider club? So in terms of psychological and social, psychological is all about confidence, creativity, concentration, control, commitment. These are the kinds of things that we've talked about before. Confidence comes, confidence goes. So if you're suffering from if you're suffering from a lack of confidence, what I'd like to think is that you're confident enough to have that conversation with the coaching staff. So it might be just pulling myself, Hugo, or Owen to one side and going, look, struggling with my game a little bit. Can you help? Can you help me through the issues that I'm having? It might be that for a period of time we simplify your game. So thinking about the position that you play. So if a defender is an example, we might just go, okay, right, today all we want to focus on is the tackles that you win and the contact on the ball, and that's it. And then we'll assess those successes after the game. Concentration is really important, as we found out on Saturday. Against the good sides that we're now playing, we have to be switched on and concentrate for the full 80 minutes. Communication is really important. Again, this is one of the main objectives that, I've set us for the season. We're getting better at it, though there is room for more improvement and it needs to be more consistent. So I think in terms of the psychological aspect as well, consistency is also another one. Control, which is your emotional control. So how do we react to errors? How do we react to mistakes? And in terms of commitment, I don't believe there's any issues in terms of commitment in the group. Um, it's something that everybody's on board and everybody's pulling in the right direction. Then in terms of social behavior, reflection, so do you reflect on your game afterwards? Do you think about what I've done really well and what I should continue to do? Do you think about, what hasn't gone so well, and therefore what can I do differently? And what conversations, can I have with the coaching staff or my peer group? How we work as a team. I think our teamwork is exceptional. There's no egos in the group, there's no cliques in the group. Everybody works together towards the same goal, which is great, and that's the same for relationships as well. Everybody comes together, and it's fantastic to see, especially at the Mo after a game. Whether we've won, drawn, lost, or whatever it is, that you all come together as a group, and that social interaction is really, really important. I think the big thing for us going forward is the accountability bit. So, how do we hold each other accountable? By having the right conversations. And it's very often a quiet word in a teammate's ear around something that you've done really well, or something that if they're struggling, okay, just focus on the basics. But I think that's the next step for us. So how can we make the course correction in game? Very often we get to half time and we have to have the conversation around what we've done well and what we've done differently. The big step change that we can make as a group now is doing that in game. So if we recognize that the first 5 to 10 minutes of a game we're not doing what we should be doing, or we're playing too long, or the basics aren't there, can we have that conversation as a peer group, and then we reassess at half time? And then responsibility and independence. So I think responsibility is, be responsible for your own game, focus on your own development. So whilst it's a team game, you also have to be selfish in terms of your own development and what that looks like. And am I doing as much off the pitch as I am on the pitch? And then also in terms of your independence, that also feeds into being confident in your own ability and confident in the environment that you're in. So, as I say, what I'm going to do is I'm going to print off some forms for Saturday. I'm going to hand them out, and I'd like them back in sort of within the next 7 days or so. But please use this template as a supporting document to fill in your player review. If you've got any questions or any queries or anything that you're not sure about, pull myself or Owen to one side. Owen's on the call as well tonight. So we're both in the same place in terms of our expectation in terms of what we want to see on the player review forms. So as an example, if you're saying, okay, one of your development areas is your other foot. So let's say you're right footed and it's your left foot. So what I would expect is an area of development. I'd expect more than just you saying my left foot. Okay, well, because that doesn't really mean anything. So in terms of your left foot, what is it? Is it technical? So is it receiving skills? Is it passing skills? Is it physical? Do we need to increase the strength in your left foot? Is it around confidence? So is it, just being brave enough to use your left foot? Start off in training and then can you build that into game? So for each of the areas, what you're good at and your development area, I'm expecting a what and I'm expecting a why. So what is it you want? What is it you feel you're really good at and why? So how do we build on that? Because very often all we do is focus on the things that players aren't good at, and what we lose sight of is what a player's really good at. So how do we take what a player is really good at and make it a super strength? So if it's a 7 out of 10 as an example in terms of shooting with your right foot, how do we make that an 8 or a 9? And in terms of your development, if it is your left foot that you want to develop, if you think it's a 3 or a 4, then how do we get it to a 5? So it's focusing on both areas and making the stuff that you're really good at even better. And the stuff where you need to develop, let's bring the two closer together. So that's what I'm looking for. If you need any help, any support with your player review form, if you're not quite sure what to write, if you've got stuff in your head that you want to review with the coaching staff, but you're not quite sure how to get it down on paper, again, just let us know. Because essentially that's what we're here for. Part of our role as the coaching staff is not just to help you at training and on match day, but this much broader appreciation of where your game is. Does that make sense? Please, somebody talk to me.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. I'm going to leave it there. I'm not going to keep you any longer. I think 15 minutes is enough. As I say, I'll print some forms out. I'll put the 4-box model in both the leadership group if you can send that out, and I'll also put it in the parents group. So there's awareness from your parents as well in terms of what we've talked about. I'll put this video up on the YouTube channel and I'll make it private and I'll share it so anybody that's missed it or anybody that wants to watch it back can do so. But that's everything that I've had, fellas, for tonight. So thank you for your time. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and I will see you all on Saturday.
Cheers, Simon.
Cheers,
Thanks a
Simon.
lot. See you later.
Yeah, cheers, Simon.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks. Bye.